Hi, Sophia. I've been listening to podcasts like you suggested, and my listening skills are getting better, but I still have a big problem with speaking English, and I don't have anyone to practice with regularly. How can I improve my speaking skills when I'm alone at home?
That's a very common challenge that many English learners face, Alex, so don't feel bad about it. The good news is that you can definitely practice speaking English by yourself every day, and it can be just as effective as practicing with a partner. There are many creative ways to practice speaking alone that will help you build confidence and fluency.
I'm really relieved to hear that solo practice can be effective, but I feel embarrassed talking to myself, and I'm worried that my neighbors might think I'm crazy if they hear me speaking English alone. How can I get over these feelings and create a good environment for practice?
Those feelings are completely normal, and almost every English learner experiences this embarrassment at first. You need to create a private, comfortable space where you feel safe to make mistakes and practice freely. Choose a quiet room in your house, maybe your bedroom or study, and practice when your neighbors are less likely to hear you, like during the day when they're at work.
That makes sense, and I think I can find a quiet space and time for practice. How much time should I spend practicing speaking alone each day? I don't want to set unrealistic goals that I can't maintain consistently.
Start with just 10 to 15 minutes per day, which is much better than trying to practice for an hour once a week. Consistency is more important than duration, so it's better to practice a little bit every single day. As you get more comfortable and confident with speaking alone, you can gradually increase the time to 20 to 30 minutes per day.
Starting with 10 to 15 minutes sounds very manageable and realistic for my busy schedule. What's the most basic way to start practicing speaking when I'm completely alone? I need some simple techniques that won't feel too weird or artificial.
The easiest way to start is by talking to yourself about your daily activities as you do them. For example, when you wake up in the morning, say, "I'm getting out of bed now. I'm going to brush my teeth and take a shower." When you're cooking, describe what you're doing. "I'm cutting vegetables for dinner. Now I'm heating oil in the pan." This feels natural because you're just narrating your real life.
That sounds much more natural than I expected, and I can see how it would help me practice everyday vocabulary. Can I also have imaginary conversations with people? Would that be a good way to practice different types of speaking situations?
Absolutely. Imaginary conversations are fantastic practice because you can role-play different scenarios that you might face in real life. You can practice ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, having a job interview, or talking to a doctor about health problems. You can play both parts of the conversation, switching between being yourself and the other person.
Playing both parts of a conversation sounds challenging, but also very practical for real-life situations. I have a smartphone with a voice recorder app. Should I record myself speaking so I can listen back and check my pronunciation and grammar?
Recording yourself is one of the most powerful tools for improving your speaking skills, and I highly recommend it. When you listen to your own recordings, you can hear mistakes that you didn't notice while speaking. You can also track your progress over time by comparing old recordings with new ones, which is very motivating when you hear how much you've improved.
I love the idea of tracking my progress with recordings. My phone also has Siri, and I sometimes use voice-to-text features. Can I practice speaking with these AI assistants to improve my pronunciation and clarity?
Yes, that's a brilliant way to practice. And AI assistants are perfect speaking partners because they're always available. Try asking Siri questions, giving voice commands, or using voice-to-text apps to write messages. If the AI understands what you're saying, it means your pronunciation is clear enough for communication. If it doesn't understand, you know you need to work on that particular word or sound.
Using AI assistants sounds like a fun and practical way to get immediate feedback on my pronunciation. I also enjoy reading, so would reading aloud be helpful for my speaking practice? What kinds of materials should I read out loud?
Reading aloud is excellent for speaking practice because it helps you with pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency all at the same time. Start with simple materials, like news articles, short stories, or even children's books if you want to focus on clear pronunciation. You can also read dialogues from English textbooks, which helps you practice conversational patterns and natural speech rhythms.
I have some English textbooks with dialogues, so I'll definitely try reading those aloud. Should I focus on reading slowly and clearly, or should I try to read at normal conversation speed?
Start by reading slowly and clearly to focus on correct pronunciation of each word, then gradually increase your speed as you become more comfortable. Try reading the same passage multiple times, first slowly for accuracy, then at normal speed for fluency. You can also practice reading with different emotions and tones, like reading a sad story sadly, or an exciting story with enthusiasm.
Practicing different emotions and tones sounds like it would help me sound more natural and expressive. I've heard about something called shadowing, where you repeat after audio or video content. How does that work for solo speaking practice?
Shadowing is an incredibly effective technique where you listen to English audio and try to speak the same words at exactly the same time as the speaker. You can use podcasts, YouTube videos, movies, or TV shows for shadowing practice. Play the audio and try to match the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible. It's like being their speaking shadow.
That sounds challenging, but very effective for learning natural speech patterns. Can I use movies and TV shows for shadowing practice? I watch English movies sometimes, but I never thought about using them for speaking practice.
Movies and TV shows are perfect for shadowing because they contain natural, conversational English with emotion and expression. Pause the video after each line of dialogue, then repeat what the character said, trying to copy their exact pronunciation and tone. You can even act out the scenes, using gestures and facial expressions like the actors do, which makes practice more fun and memorable.
Acting out scenes sounds like it would make practice much more enjoyable and engaging. Sometimes I need to give presentations or talk about specific topics. How can I practice speaking about different subjects when I'm alone?
You can create your own speaking topics and give yourself daily challenges to discuss different subjects. Write down random topics on pieces of paper, like my favorite food, climate change, or technology and education. Then pick one topic each day and speak about it for 2 to 3 minutes. Try to give your opinion, provide examples, and explain your reasoning, just like in a real conversation or presentation.
Creating daily topic challenges sounds like a great way to build confidence with different subjects. I also love telling stories. Can storytelling help me practice speaking English? And what kinds of stories should I tell?
Storytelling is fantastic for speaking practice because it helps you organize your thoughts and use descriptive language naturally. You can retell movies you've watched, books you've read, or interesting things that happened to you during the day. You can also create completely fictional stories using your imagination. The key is to practice using past tense, sequential words like first, then, after that, and finally.
I really like the idea of using storytelling to practice organizing my thoughts and using different grammar structures. I struggle with certain English sounds that don't exist in my native language. How can I practice pronunciation when I'm speaking alone?
Pronunciation practice is perfect for solo speaking because you can focus on specific sounds without feeling embarrassed. Practice tongue twisters like, she sells seashells by the seashore, or Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. These help you practice difficult sound combinations. You can also look in a mirror while speaking to see how your mouth and tongue should move for different sounds.
Using a mirror is a great idea because I can see if I'm making the right mouth shapes for different sounds. Besides individual sounds, how can I practice the rhythm and music of English speech when I'm alone?
English rhythm and intonation are just as important as individual sounds, and you can definitely practice these alone. Practice saying the same sentence in different ways, as a question, a statement, or with surprise or anger. For example, say, you're going to the store as a normal statement, then, "You're going to the store?" as a question, then "You're going to the store" with excitement.
Practicing the same sentence with different emotions and intentions sounds very useful for real conversations. I want to expand my vocabulary while practicing speaking. How can I incorporate new words into my solo speaking practice?
One great technique is to play word association games with yourself while speaking aloud. Start with one word, like ocean, then say related words. Water, waves, swimming, fish, blue, vacation. Try to create sentences using each word and challenge yourself to use new vocabulary words you've recently learned. You can also describe objects around your house without saying their names, which forces you to use descriptive vocabulary.
Word association games sound fun and would definitely help me practice using vocabulary in context. How can I set specific goals for my solo speaking practice? I want to make sure I'm making real progress.
Setting clear, measurable goals is essential for tracking your progress and staying motivated. You can set time-based goals like speak for 15 minutes without stopping, or content-based goals like use 5 new vocabulary words in my speaking practice today. You can also set weekly challenges like record myself telling a 5-minute story about my weekend, or practice pronunciation of 20 difficult words.
Having specific goals will definitely help me stay focused and motivated during practice. Sometimes I feel shy and self-conscious even when I'm alone. How can I build confidence and overcome these mental barriers?
Building confidence takes time and patience, so be gentle with yourself during this process. Remember that making mistakes is completely normal and necessary for learning. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. Start with very easy speaking tasks that feel comfortable, then gradually challenge yourself with harder activities. Celebrate small improvements, like pronouncing a difficult word correctly or speaking for longer than usual.
It's reassuring to know that mistakes are normal and part of the learning process. How can I keep myself motivated to practice speaking alone every day? Sometimes I feel like giving up when I don't see immediate results.
Motivation is definitely challenging when you're practicing alone, but there are many ways to keep yourself engaged and excited. Create a reward system for yourself. Maybe after a week of daily practice, you can watch your favorite movie or buy something small you want. Keep a speaking journal where you write about what you practiced and how you felt, which helps you see your progress over time.
A reward system and speaking journal sound like excellent ways to maintain motivation and track progress. Are there any advanced techniques I can try once I become more comfortable with basic solo speaking practice?
Once you're comfortable with basic techniques, you can try impromptu speaking challenges where you give yourself random topics and speak about them immediately without preparation. You can also practice formal presentations by giving yourself 5 to 10 minutes to prepare a speech about a topic, then delivering it as if you're presenting to an audience. Try using gestures, varying your voice tone, and making eye contact with an imaginary audience.
Impromptu speaking and formal presentations sound like they would really challenge me to think quickly in English. How will I know if my solo speaking practice is actually improving my English skills? What should I look for?
There are several clear signs that your speaking is improving through solo practice. You'll notice that you can speak for longer periods without stopping to think of words. Your pronunciation will become clearer and more natural sounding. You'll start using new vocabulary words automatically without having to think about them consciously. Most importantly, you'll feel more confident and less nervous about the idea of speaking English with other people.
Those are encouraging signs to watch for, and I feel motivated to start tracking these improvements. Should I eventually transition from solo practice to speaking with real people? How do I know when I'm ready for that step?
Solo practice should definitely prepare you for real conversations, but don't wait until you feel perfect before trying to speak with others. You can start having simple conversations with English speakers online or in person while continuing your solo practice. The solo practice gives you a safe space to prepare for real interactions and work on specific skills that you want to improve.
It makes sense to combine solo practice with real conversations rather than waiting until I'm perfect. Can I continue solo practice even after I start speaking with other people regularly?
Absolutely. Solo practice should continue throughout your English learning journey, even when you're having regular conversations with others. You can use solo practice to prepare for important conversations, work on specific pronunciation problems, or practice presentations before giving them. Solo practice gives you complete control over your learning and lets you focus on exactly what you need to improve.
I love that solo practice can continue to support my learning, even as I advance to more challenging speaking situations. This gives me so much confidence that I can improve my speaking skills even without a regular conversation partner.
That's exactly the right attitude, Alex. Remember that many successful English speakers used solo practice as a major part of their learning journey. You have all the tools you need to improve your speaking skills right now, today, in your own home. The most important thing is to start practicing regularly and be patient with your progress, because speaking skills develop gradually over time.
Thank you so much for all these practical ideas and encouragement, Sophia. I'm excited to start my daily solo speaking practice today, and I feel much more confident about improving my English speaking skills on my own.
You're very welcome, Alex. I'm confident that you'll see great improvement in your speaking skills if you practice consistently using these techniques. Remember to be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and most importantly, have fun with your practice. Good luck with your solo speaking journey.